Hello, and welcome to Be a Leader podcast, where we talk about leadership through current events, whether it's sports, business, or the military. My name is Daniel Pinedo, and today is Veterans Day, so we're going to try it a little bit different here. I am in my gym where I like to work out, and we're going to talk about some things that the Marine Corps taught me. Yesterday was the 250th birthday of the United States Marine Corps. Happy birthday, Marines. But I just want to name a few. Now, I have a ton, right? I'm going to focus, I could only go on 6. So we're going to talk about 6 things, and hopefully these are useful for you as you continue in your leadership journey. So the first thing that really is something that I like about my time in the Marine Corps is the idea that everyone's a leader. Everyone's a leader. And you hear that from me in this podcast. I talk about leadership, whether you're leading yourself, right? That's the first one. What I teach is there's 3 levels: leading yourself, leading others, leading leaders. But we really are focusing on leading ourselves because a lot of us give up that power. We don't realize we are leading ourselves by how we conduct ourselves, what we want to do, the world or the life that we're trying to create. So in the Marine Corps, we have this idea that whenever there's 2 Marines, there's 1 in charge. I remember one time in Iraq when we were first getting our Marines in there, this lieutenant colonel dropped 2 young Marines off, and they were alone and unafraid in a storm in Iraq, didn't know where ISIS, the enemy, was, and they spent hours all night trying to figure out to connect to the other Marines. But there was 2, one was in charge, and they slowly figured out how to use their night vision goggles to click the little light to be able to see the other group. But when there's 2 in charge, when there's 2, there's 1 in charge. Okay, leadership isn't something that you're asking for permission. You step into it. And that's what's talked about over and over in the Marine Corps. Most people think leadership is a title. You have to have the title to lead. In the Marine Corps, we believe everyone needs to step into leadership on day 1. Doesn't matter if you're a private or a 4-star general. Everyone is a leader, and that's what's expected in the Marine Corps. All right. So that's the first thing I want to share is the idea that everyone is a leader. You are too. All right. Step into that. The second one we're going to talk about is the importance of values. Values are not something you just post on the wall. Okay, it's something you live through every single day. They are your decisions. You're deciding the most important things, and you're deciding how you're going to live. All right, you must define the values. Know what they are. Define them. What do they mean? In the Marine Corps, we had them all over the place. We had them on shirts. Today I'm wearing I'll talk about the shirt later, but we had them on our shirts. We had them on our walls. They were painted on the staircases. We talked about them. We asked young Marines, what does it mean to you? We defined them. We were evaluated based on them too. Our evaluation was broken down based on it. So for us, it was honor, courage, commitment. We knew what they were. We talked about them all the time, honoring the Marine Corps history, our fellow Marines right now, our future, our units, our family. We talked about courage. Courage in the bullets is almost easier. Moral courage was the one we talked more about because it's hard to stand up and say something when you see something wrong when everyone else is doing it. We talked about that a lot. And then commitment, the foundation of anyone who did anything great. Consistency over time. What are you committed to? Are you really committed to our Marines, our mission, what we're trying to accomplish, the future? We talked about them over and over and over again. Most people think that values is just something you believe. I love spending time with folks on asking them their values. And oftentimes they just get this laundry list of all these things that sound good. But we need to define what they are. So most people think values are just something you believe. Marines, we believe that values is something that you do all the time, especially when there's no one watching. It's what we do. So values is really a big thing that I learned. Let's talk about the third thing. We have this term called task and purpose. It's part of the mission statement. The mission is task in order to purpose. Okay. Take the hell in order to secure the objective, whatever it was. And what I realized was there was a huge difference from what I saw in the sports world because I've coached college basketball. I'm currently a varsity head basketball coach in high school. I was the captain of the basketball football team way back in the day in high school. We would talk all the time about motivation. What are they motivated for? What are you motivated for? Why are you motivated for? Oh, I want to prove people wrong. I want to prove people. I hear that all the time. Problem with motivation is an emotion. It goes up and down. Anyone can play hard on defense in basketball when your shots are going down, when you're making steals, when things are going well on offense. It's very hard to play good defense when things are not going well for me, when you're not making your shots, when you're making mistakes. It drove me nuts when I worked at University of Michigan and we call timeout and players are like this, tails between their legs, heads down, playing small, wimping that they not making their shots. It's like, I don't care. I had this game this past Thursday in a small group because we didn't have all our players yet because of football. And there was a turnover and no one ran back. And I called timeout and I gave it to them because I said, I don't care that they stole the ball and are going for a leg. You go get a rebound. Because in that situation, they missed it 3 times and kept getting their own rebound because my guys didn't get back. That's only happened once this year. And it's not going to happen again. But being very clear, right? Being very clear. The what and the why gives clarity. Good leadership gives clarity. A good task and a good purpose. And if you understand that purpose, it gives you a lot of ability to play around with it when things get difficult, when the enemy has a vote, trying to fulfill that purpose. Okay? It lets you adapt. And I think that's the main message here. Motivation, it fades. It always fades. Anyone can clean the house when they feel good. Anyone can go to the gym on a good day. It's hard to do it when you're tired, when you're sleepy, when you're fatigued. All the excuses that are possible out there. Most people think leaders need to be charismatic. Hey, it helps. It helps. But Marines believe good leadership is clarity with conviction. Give me a good task. Give me a really good purpose. And make me believe in myself and that you have trust in me. Okay? So again, task and purpose is much greater than motivation. Let's move on to the fourth one. Your team is your lifeline. Your team is so important to you. Lone wolves die alone. Okay, the pack, they survive. Okay. The value of a very strong social support system. We inherit that. We're given that in the Marine Corps, in the military. And that's often the reason why a lot of veterans have a hard time because they were given a good mission, task, and purpose. They were given a very good social support system. And then when they leave, they don't have it anymore. That's a conversation for another day. But the social support system is so important. I ask every single one of my college basketball players, my high school basketball players, I ask my Marines, I ask entrepreneurs, people I coach one-on-one. I said, there's three things you need to know. First one, who is in your social support system? Identify them. 2, let them know that your success depends on their support. And the third one, help them help you. Tell them what you need from them. Keep them updated on what's going on. They like to hear that. They like to know that they're important to your success. So Marines don't operate alone. You're always with some kind of group. Fire teams, usually 4, a squad, 12, platoon in the 30s, and the greater. You're always with Marines. And they have different specialties, and you cross-train. You know each other's specialty, but you have yours, and they're depending on you, and you're depending on them. So in sports, I think about challenges with teams. Sometimes they have a poor bench. They don't have any depth. Or in basketball, they don't pass the ball. Teams have to have high standards because then you can trust each other. I had a team last year, the best player had a hard time with the other teammates because he didn't trust their ability, that they would drop the ball, turn it over, make a bad shot, miss their shots. You rather just hold on to it. High standards change everything because then you can trust everyone that they have their back and you have theirs because you've all trained to that standard and continuously trained to that standard. Right? But that team environment is so important. I see in businesses all the time when I coach entrepreneurs, helping them realize the growth of their company depends on their growth of themselves as an individual. And why coaching is so important. Otherwise, it's just going to take forever. You want a high growth company, you need a high growth individual. And that's where it's so fun to be with the team. High standards. Most people, they have this idea of this glorified self-made man myth. People who become great, they always had people help them on the sides. Always had people help them. In the Marine Corps, we think independence is not a weakness, it's a strength. Your team is a strength. So I'll stop there. We'll go to the next one. This one's a mentality one. You have way more in you than you think. We all create stories of how much we can do it. Oh man, there's a show called Special Forces. and they take these celebrities and they have these special forces guys, Marine Recon like Rudy on there, and they train them, and it's so funny, especially the athletes. I laugh. It's just entertaining, pure entertainment for me. But one of the things they're constantly looking is like, how much more do I have? They're like finding that line. Oh, I can do a little bit more, but then I'm going to break, or I can only do so much. Or then when they quit, they said, I passed my line. I'm done. I'm done. And we have way more than we think. It's a mental thing. We have this imaginary line, but most of us have never found where our physical or our mental limitations are. In the Marine Corps, you find them, and then you train to get them higher and higher and higher. And you realize that the physical and the mental go hand in hand. When you get tired, your mental ability goes down. Your decisions get worse. Your reflexes are slower. You make poor decisions. And so we have to train, be very strong physically, high physical stamina. And we train our mentality too, because we know the mental thing is our barrier. We tell stories in our head. Yes, they keep us safe, such as, I probably shouldn't be running this fast in this weather, in this terrain, with this gear that weighs this much, with this big pack on top of my body armor that doesn't fit because no one actually tested this out when they made it, with my weapon slapping me back and forth and the antenna slapping me here. And I've only slept, 3 hours and hardly eaten anything? I probably shouldn't be doing this anymore. That's a story that's naturally running through your brain because it's survival. And you have to tell yourself, no, there's something more important that I'm doing. And you push through that, and you push through that. The biggest gift, probably going through the military, especially the Marine Corps combat arms like I did, was the mental strength and power you have. There's this phrase in the Marine Corps martial arts program: one mind, any weapon. And I always have fun with civilians when I work with them. And sometimes they ask me about a weapon or whatever, and I just pull up, hey, look at this pen. This is a weapon. Imagine the things I can do. And I always tell them, you remember the Bourne movies, right, where he takes the ballpoint and you can put it in the net? It's just, it's the idea that I always have a plan. I'm much more capable than I think. I can do way more than the stories of fear or holding back are in here. And it's not just in combat, it's in everything else. It's in how you show up. It's in how you be a leader. You have way more than you think you can do. That's why training the mental toughness is so important. Okay, let's go to the last one. And that's that the transformation never ends. We all know, I've heard of boot camp, right? That introductory passage, especially for the enlisted side. They get on those yellow footprints when they start, and you make it to the crucible to the end. But in reality, the crucible isn't the end. It's just the beginning. Okay, transformation does not stop. You should continuously improve. At least in the Marine Corps, we have professional military education, PME, where you're constantly trying to get better, whatever rank. Every single rank in the Marine Corps, there's going to be some informal training you do. There's going to be some formal schoolhouse where you get some certificate. There's obviously going to be training for your specialty, if you're shooting cannons or flying or whatever, any of those type of things. And then there's even a commandant reading list where there's a set of books that you're expected to read through during that rank before you get promoted to the next one. You can't get promoted until you hit requirements of your PME. But the idea is you're continuously training. Just like when you're in foxhole, you're continuously improving your environment as time permits, as the situation permits. You're continuously going. And I've already talked about this with startup founders when I work with them. Your company is limited by your growth. You have to keep growing. One of the things I really liked during my time when I was at McKinsey and Company is this phrase: what are you solving for? It was a normal thing. You run into someone getting coffee or getting water, you sit down for a coffee chat. It was a normal question. What are you solving for? Oh, well, getting better at my Excel skills, getting better at client hands, getting better at problem solving or mine, getting better at PowerPoint, because that really wasn't a strength of mine in the Marine Corps. We should always know what we're trying to solve for. What's the next part of your growth journey? The transformation never ends. That's the thing. Most people say, you made it to boot camp. I'm done. I've done it. I'm good. But with the Marine Corps, it's like, you made it to boot camp. That's just the price of admission. You're barely getting started. And I call out all the veterans right now. You might be out of the cloth, not wearing it anymore. What are you doing now to continue your transformation? I love working with veterans because they have a history of doing something very hard with high meaning. And then it's like, what's the next one? What are you doing now? What are you doing now, Lieutenant? Right? So part of that is you can obviously tell I love leadership. I talk about it. This podcast is called Be a Leader. I have other things. I'm almost done with my video standalone series called Lead Like a Marine, which I'm very excited for. Should be done here before the end of 2025. The video on the 9 main principles that I coach on. And I've used it in many arrays: sports, athletics, business, military, obviously in the Marine Corps. I have a live program. I've done a few this year. I have a new one coming up in 2026. It's going to call Confident Leader Boot Camp. Is to help people really step into their leadership and have a lot of confidence so they can create the future that they're really dreaming about, that they really want to accomplish. I'm also going to write a book, but it's probably going to be 2026. That one's more down the road. And obviously, I do one-on-one stuff. And before I wrap it up, I meant to talk about the shirt. So the units I was with 311's artillery unit out 29 Palms, California in the desert. I was with 27 infantry unit. That's the shirt I got here. I was part of Gunfighters Golf Company. Spent time with First Tanks. I love tanks. They're no longer in the Marine Corps, sadly. And then I spent a lot of time with Anglico, which is Air Naval Gunfire Liaison Group, which is we call for airstrikes. And I just love being with my Marines, supporting different units with fires. They said, I need this blown up. I said, how quickly? What are the effects? Was it artillery? Is it naval gunfire? Is it fixed wing, rotary wing? It was so much fun. It was so much fun being in that capacity leading Marines. And here I am now trying to serve on the other side. So let's talk about our main ones. I got them here on the whiteboard. You might have seen them the whole time here. But let's just rehash the main points. The first one, be a leader. You can step into it now. You don't need permission, okay? You just need to step into it. And the second one, values. Know your values. So what are they? They're not just things you believe. They're decisions on how you're going to act and how you're going to show up in the world. Task and purpose, greater motivation. I tell this to a lot of people. If you're having a motivation issue, then you're really having a purpose issue. You need to find a bigger purpose that's going to get you out of bed. It's going to get you fired up. That you're going to go and live your life through. Motivation issue, you got purpose issue. I love working with people. If you need help, let me know. Right. Team. Your team is a lifeline. Who is in your social support system? Be very clear about that. Be very clear about the environment you're creating around you. It's so important. We realize that you can't go at it alone. Build a team around you. The next one, you have way more. You are more capable than you think. We hold ourselves back. This is the natural tendency for survival. But you have way more than you think you can do. Mentally, physically. Keep pushing, all right? And get help, right? That's where your team works, your social support system. And finally, the transformation never ends. Don't slow down in your journey of growth. Keep growing. The best continuously grow. There's the idea of the path of mastery. That's another point. But you do it for the sake of, you love it. You know that you're going to incrementally get better over time. Anyways, those are the main points of this video. Hopefully this was helpful for you. Happy birthday to all the Marines out there. Thank you for your service, for all the veterans. We're supporting all those that are continuously serve. And we hope to encourage all those young people who have not yet put on the uniform that want to serve. So whether you're leading yourself, leading others, or leading leaders, be a leader. My name's Daniel Pinedo. Thank you for watching this episode. Until next time.